Safety policies. Review of safety policies, that's going to sum up what we're about to delve into. So here it goes. First safety policy is titled Safety of Agency Employees, okay? I've highlighted with a few arrows here, and I'll kind of read those for those, again, who are not seeing these presentations. Each safety training is provided at orientation annually and at other times as provided. Again, this counts as that annual safety training. It's each employee's responsibility to work safely, number one. It is each employee's responsibility to communicate unsafe situation in homes. This is very critical, you guys. From the perspective of visiting clinicians or visiting staff versus office-based staff. If you are encountering something in the home, we don't see that from a office staff perspective. We need to have you report that to us, report that to your supervisor, make sure that you're not going into a condition that you are unsafe in. So please report, please share that with your supervisor. That's the only way we can know and act on it. Number 4 here is each employee's responsibility to communicate unsafe situations at any care center VNA ground. So again, this is for the office-based employees. Same thing, you know, we now have multiple sites. If you are going to a remote site and you're seeing something, please let us know. Just as a, you know, just as an aside, this weekend, for example, there happened to be some water issues that went on with one of our buildings. You know, again, the quicker we are able to be notified of that, the better it is to, again, mitigate some of the issues that could go on. There's a section in this policy that's related to auto safety, automobile, car safety. I'm going to read all 4 of them because they're important. Number 1, wear your seatbelt at all time. Number 2, maintain a current vehicle inspection sticker. That's the law. And you have to submit that in for HR. We'll make sure we bug you enough about that. Number 3, refrain from using mobile devices while driving. You know, that is critical. If you all need to see some very poignant videos, just go on YouTube one day and type in, you know, distracted driving or cell phones and driving. There's some really incredible things that goes on when one is distracted, certainly this day and age, by mobile devices. So be careful with that, please. Number 4, practice safe driving habits. Again, you know, maintaining the distance between cars is a critical thing. And just distracted driving, probably number 1 thing on that. Heading down here to the personal safety section. And this is specifically written for employees making home visits. Number 1, be alert to environmental safety concerns. We're talking about things like broken stairways, railings, uneven surfaces, and clutter. I chuckle a little bit because that probably describes a good percentage of the homes that we go into. Wear appropriate footwear. I'm going to take a little time to talk about this because footwear, especially in the winter time, is critical. One of our biggest incidents that occur with employees, it happens in the winter time because of slips and falls. So winter footwear is critical. I strongly recommend those spikes. Again, it's a little bit silly talking about winter footwear when it's, you know, 90% humidity outside and, you know, about to get to 80 degrees, but nonetheless, keep that in mind for a little later on. Good body mechanics. We might at some point in time in the near future here have a special session just on body mechanics. Pets, we have a very, I won't say strict, well, I would say strict pet policy. There's a specific policy for that, but again, do know that pets must be restrained, confined during staff visits. Number 5 here is request that patients and family members refrain from smoking while you're in the home. Number 6, Request that family members secure firearms and weapons. Number 7, and I wish I had a little asterisk by this one. Leave the home served by the agency if the environment is unsafe. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the purple file policy, okay? Number 8, leave the home if anyone is abusive, verbally or physically threatening. And number 9, inform, again, the supervisor designee of any safety issues. Please communicate with us about that. And so we'll move right on to the next policy. Again, let me just scroll up here a little bit. I was going to do a poll this morning, and I got a little bit tripped up with technology, and I can't even ask for a show of hands because I think we have over 75 participants with us this morning, so I wouldn't be able to count everyone's hands in a quick glance. But there's a large portion of us who are familiar with the concept of the purple file. And I know that there's a large portion of us who are not familiar with that. That might be something new. So the purple file policy is in place for any time an employee feels endangered in the field, when you are visiting. So the procedure reads as such, okay? If any home visiting employee finds himself or herself being threatened physically or psychologically in a client's home and they're unable to leave the home or call 911, that's important right there. If you're unable to leave the home or unable to call 911, the employee should call the receptionist at the agency and ask that the purple file be pulled on that client and state the address. The receptionist will then page any available supervisor with the message purple file on 101, and any available supervisor will pick up the phone and ask the following questions. Do you need an ambulance? Do you need police? Or is there a weapon involved? The employee stays on the line if possible until emergency personnel arrive. Okay. This is a policy that has been vetted, if you would, by our surveyors, our DPH surveyors at one point. It is something that is important to know that it's there. It's important that we all know. It's important that if you're a visiting clinician, if you're visiting staff, that you know how to use this. And it's important for us in the office to know how to use it as well. So this pertains to all of us. Very important for safety in the home, okay? I'm going to move on to our next policy here. We do have a safety committee. And the one thing I highlighted with this policy is that number 2 here states any employee, volunteer, student, or visitor may bring an issue to the safety committee for consideration. They should submit their issue via email to the safety committee. If you don't know who to submit it to your supervisor and they will get it to the safety committee. So this is important. Again, we're trying to make sure that we hear everything and know everything that's going on regarding safety. And of course, the more eyes, the better for this purpose. If you see it, say it, please. And I'll just skip through the remainder of this policy. You can read it and you'll all have access to this presentation. Fire safety and evacuation plan. Know that when an alarm sounds, your responsibility, if you're here in the office, is to shut all doors and windows and leave the building via the closest exit. It's not your responsibility to put out the fire, okay? Just as possible, close the windows, close the doors, so that, again, that limits some of that oxygen that would, again, fuel the fire. Obviously, stairways are used, not elevator. Once outside, convenient an area away from the building. We have very extensive, large parking lots. Just go away as far as you can. I know each building has a designated spot. And then number 6 here, that's also important to note. No one should re-enter the building for any reason until the fire department has given all clear, okay? Those are the 3 highlighted sections on this specific policy that I wanted to bring to mind. Sorry, again, it's just making sure, of course, to pull that fire alarm and exit the building. Being prepared is much easier and in an emergency. So know the evacuation routes. If you're an office-based employee, absolutely know where all of the evacuation routes are and the quickest way to get out. Lastly here, the safety data sheet, the SDS or MSDS that was previously called, is we do have a policy that states that all safety data sheets are maintained for all hazardous chemicals. And again, you'd be amazed at how many things that we use on a regular basis is considered a hazardous chemical. But know that we have a binder, a folder that contains all of the safety data sheet. We've recently updated that to include information that is current. One of the things that I will let you know is if, for example, you have an issue with a chemical that for some reason you either ingest or it's splashed on your eyes or on your skin and where it's not supposed to. Yes, we do have a binder. Yes, we do have a folder. But this day and age, if you just do a plain old Google search on whatever the chemical, whatever the material it is that you are using, and just type in SDS and then the name of the material or the you will find that almost immediately instead of having to look through a folder page by page. So you can trial that, just pick up your dish detergent at home and just type in the name and then put SDS beside it, and you'll see that coming right up, okay? The other site, and this is something that's going to be present in your slides as well, is there is an OSHA.gov/HAZCOM. That's an excellent site also that lists all of the information related to hazardous materials. Again, it doesn't have to be, some serious chemicals. Even some of the cleaning things that we use on a daily basis qualify as that. Again, if you happen to ingest it or if it's splashed on your eyes or touches your skin and causes a reaction, this is another site that is very important to as a go-to to find any information. With that said, this brings us to the end of this specific presentation on review of safety policies. Once more, I'll just remind you to please email Nicole Healy so that we can make sure that you get the credit you deserve for attending this. I'm going to stop sharing the screen here for a second, and if there's any questions, if there's anything that you see that was talked about today or at the other presentations that you have a question, comment, concern about, please don't hesitate to share that with us. Your feedback is very important. It will only make us better for the next time we need to present on the same subject. And even we have a presentation, a repeat presentation on this Thursday. So to catch the other half of the folks that weren't able to join us this morning. But with that said, my clock here reads 8:16. So I think I see everyone still awake and moving. So thank you for not falling asleep. Really appreciate all of you. And thank you so much for being with us this morning. Have a wonderful day. And stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.